We're gonna watch it flies for a minute at a time with John and Niall, and I guess you just rhyme with Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever. This is the podcast where we're trapped within each minute of Joel Schumacher's Batman movie, Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time. It's only
the defeat in your voice.
It's every time. It's every like I keep like, oh, I'm doing so well with this intro, and then it'll be like, it took about until mid-season last year to stop saying Batman at 89.
Yeah,
and now it's just like every time because it rolls off your lips after so many episodes of just saying Tim Burton. Like, no, it's not Tim Burton. It's a completely different man now.
It's a completely different Burton.
Although he did produce it, but he produced it in as much as like they would occasionally ring him and be like, hey Tim, you want to do this? And he's like, would you people leave me alone, for Christ's sake? I don't care about this anymore.
just say yes to everything, damn it. I don't care.
This is he just has like Last Action Hero. He just has a little tape recording of him going, yeah. Yep. Yeah. And he just puts every time Joel Schumacher rang him, he just put that on. But anyway, we're here to talk about Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am the other host, John Parker, who is still baffled by the fact that a bank is at the top of a skyscraper.
Where do you bank?
I only use underground banks.
I think I've never been to a bank that's had like more than 3 floors, maybe at the most.
I will say it does seem like extra difficult to put your bank up high. I mean, dirt is a fantastic insulator.
Maybe they were thinking like, oh, it'll be so much more difficult to rob because
I feel like a vault should be a vault, like a dungeon. You know, it feels more. I don't know. It's just probably just because I played D&D last night, but I'm just like, it should be in the hole. Money should be in the hole, guys.
The people are wondering who that is. That, of course, are returning guests from the last episode, Bryarly Bishop.
Hello.
Hey. But it could be like, so I know, Bryarly, you live in LA, so or although LA, from my understanding, is supposed to be like a relatively kind of like low city. Like it's not like New York where there's just like tons of skyscrapers everywhere.
They're starting to add skyscrapers because they've changed the like building laws. It's very annoying.
Oh, okay. So I think that was always like my understanding from like Die Hard, where it's like, yeah, that's that one tower that's really big and it's not surrounded by anything.
There's basically sections of town that are skyscrapery, but it's like when you go up high, like if you hike up into the mountains and then you look down on the city, they're just sort of, it's like a giant sort of like pushpin map. There's sort of like you know, if you would see a picture of, or like they like maps that have like the cities drawn in miniature, where it's like Las Vegas and it has like major things about that city. It's sort of like that. Like it's like, oh, that clump is Santa Monica and that clump is Century City and that clump is downtown. You're never like, I wonder what building that is.
I will congratulate you on your fantastic brief impressions of Chris Walken and Don Knotts there in the last couple of seconds.
Thank you.
I don't know if that was intentional, but like
no, it just happens.
Oh, there you go.
Much better than the current impression I'm doing of ill Phoebe Buffet from Friends.
Yeah.
I liked the buffet. That was
Smelly cat, smelly cat.
But today we're here to talk about minute 8 of Batman Forever, which begins with this guy who he thinks he's gonna sort out Batman. He's just jumping down so goddamn confident about it. Little does he know what's gonna happen to him. And it ends 1 minute later with Batman and the constantly moaning security guard having a bit of a pickle, as it were. Pickles in a jar, these guys.
Ooh, can I have some?
Oh, you're more than welcome. I hate pickles, so you can have all of them if you want.
You hate pickles?
I do. I hate pickles.
That's a thing over here, I feel. Like,
that's crazy.
Everybody hates them. Like, I despised them until about 5 years ago or so when I went to Germany. And I had them in Germany and they were amazing. And then that sort of retroactively made me like the crap ones here.
It seems to be a thing, like, from American media, I've seen, people seem to constantly, in movies and stuff, put pickles in sandwiches, and apparently Americans are obsessed with having eggs for breakfast. Like,
we have eggs for breakfast a lot.
To be fair, Niall, that is the same here too. It's just you.
I'm not a big egg guy anyway, but like I just wouldn't bother because it's like, oh, so much cleanup and so big to do. It's just like, just put on some toast. It's fine. Just go.
No, scrambled eggs. I agree with you. Like it's a pain, but boiled eggs are so easy.
Yeah,
and a fried egg usually isn't that much cleanup.
I'm a poacher. I poach eggs.
That sounds like that's even more work, though.
Poaching's easy.
I'll poach an egg for a particular. I have to be in the mood. It has to be a particular sort of desire.
Oh no, I could just eat poached eggs 3 times a day. I'd have no problem with it. And I'm in charge of the poaching while my partner sorts out doing some toast and things like that. I'm looking after the eggs.
I do wish that like Egghead was the villain of this movie, so this conversation could be like relevant to what's happening.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's not at all. That's just our want.
Ari, the pickle situation though. There's more than one type of pickle. Perhaps you're just not having a good type of pickle.
This is England. We if there's a product, we get one of it. We don't get 50 varieties.
It's like finding out, like, what do you mean there's other kinds of lettuce? Like, what? There's more lettuce than iceberg lettuce? Why?
like pickling is a thing. So you can pickle whatever you want, however you want, basically.
Oh, right.
What I'm saying is you have the power to change your pickle experience at any time. if you ever desire to enjoy one.
No. Well...
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Maybe by the end of the season, I will
say,
build into a pickle.
This is a very California thing for me to say, but it's true. I hated avocados until I moved to California, and I think it's because they just aren't as good anywhere else. Like, they taste weird other places.
Oh, see, I'm a big fan of them. Them and eggs together.
Yeah, no, it's a great combo. But I didn't used to feel that way.
See, I do love avocados, but I can't eat them because apparently I've become allergic to them.
What?
I used to constantly eat avocados, and then after a while I started noticing my lips would puff up when I would eat them, and then it's like be harder to swallow. And then one time I had like guacamole, and it was just like I thought I was going to die. I was just like,
God.
Like the combination here is like it seems to be it's the avocado that's doing it. So I had to cut it out, unfortunately.
Oh, alas.
Yeah, I do like it though. Although it was always a pain in the ass when you'd buy one, it'd be like £1 for a whole avocado, and then you'd use half of it, and then if you try to store it for anything more than like an hour, it's just impossible.
Yeah, it goes brown within the space of 5 seconds, basically. Like,
yeah. I was doing things like getting like the little putting it in Tupperware next to a chopped onion, which was supposed to help it, and I think it did once. And then every other time it was just like, now you've got an oniony brown avocado.
Delicious.
I'd rather eat that than a pickle, I'll tell you that. But
Batman.
Yes.
So
Batman.
Batman's about to eat something because Baraka from Mortal Kombat charges at him. Ready to slice him up.
I can't help but feel this is a kind of slight throwback to the first movie, because you remember they had the fight out with like the goons in the alleyway, and then the random sword guy, and he had the same, because this guy when he's running towards Batman, he's got a whole like, and that guy when he showed up he had a like he was really going for it. And then that same asshole at the end of the movie.
Maybe you have to psych yourself up to run at Batman. You know, I don't think you can just do it. You have to like scream something.
Yeah, you've got to commit.
I think just like the battle rage, like just I would feel nervous. I think I would feel better if I were screaming.
But it's just like, because then that same guy at the end of the movie, remember he showed up somersaulting and he had those weird leg Baraka things coming out.
Yeah.
So I do like to think that this is the same guy, and he's like, I've got in with a new crew. I've been waiting for this rematch for a long damn time.
Yeah, and he's got extra buff.
Yeah, it's like I've been working out nonstop in the joint ever since Batman put me there. Although we never know if he did. I suppose they would have arrested the Joker's guys, because how the hell were they going to get out of that tower?
Batman just blows people up.
Well, that's the thing, like, because this guy is running towards him, and it really reminded me of in the first Turtles movie, when Shredder's running towards Splinter, and he just has to make like, whoa! And then Splinter just kind of steps out of the way, and he just goes over the edge and stuff. Because it's the same move. Because I was like, I wonder if it's the same actor. You never know.
That'd be amazing.
But the thing is, and a noted difference from past Batmans, i.e. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer's Batman doesn't just let the guy drop down the elevator shaft. He actively grabs him, saves his life, and then throws him into the electrocuting guy. Which
could also kill him, though, to be fair. He could have a heart attack.
So potentially, yeah. We'll note in the novelization, he does let the guy fall down the shaft, but it has a note of him. It says he smiles satisfactorily. And then,
that's
it
is evil.
It's because he hears that the guys hit the elevator like a couple floors beneath, so he knows that he's okay, and he's just like, that was a pretty swish move on my half.
He's okay. He could have broken his neck.
Yeah. There's a whole thing. We'll get into it when the scenes come up that are like,
just like, he landed, he's fine.
He'll be all right. Yeah.
He's totally fine.
It didn't sound like his head cracked open, so I'm assuming he's okay.
I'm Batman. I know what it sounds like.
But I think they had, within the novelization later on, there's a whole big ethical debate about Batman killing and stuff, so we'll get to that later on and stuff.
I had a question about this guy as well, though, because just as he's about to run, he clangs the blades together. And I was like, is this intimidation, or is this just a last-minute little quick sharpening?
Stuff can be two things.
It could be both at once, yeah. Because it is quite intimidating. Just the sound of it is quite horrible.
Because the thing is, they have an establishing shot of Batman where he looks like, he looks more shocked than usual that the guy's running towards him. So maybe the old blade sharpening did the trick. And he's like, oh, this guy's got two blades. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I will say that establishing shot of Batman looking shocked will stay in my heart forever, because that's the end of the Kiss from a Rose video. Is that shot, and then it fades to black. I don't know if you know that, Brian. Do you know the Seal song, Kiss from a Rose?
I do know it. Some of the best improv that I've ever seen was set to that song.
Oh, really? Did you know that was the spin-off single to this movie?
No.
It is.
It plays over the end of the end credits. It is featured nowhere within the film, I'm sure you noticed.
But it is heavily attached to the movie for some reason.
Who's being kissed by the rose in this instance? That's my question.
Ooh. Aren't we all?
Because, I remember Michael Keaton's Batman dropping a rose in the first movie.
Yes.
Oh, that is true. There are roses do feature later on in the flashbacks to, the funeral and stuff. I never got because I'll compare you to a kiss from the rose on the gray. Like, on the gray?
Yeah, I always thought he said
Yeah.
grave, but it's not.
Yeah,
apparently it's on the gray. I was like, what was that?
He's just chatting nonsense.
I mean, my first thought was like Wuthering Heights or something. Like, does that mean, is it like a moor? What is the gray?
Maybe. Yeah. Although one thing I do know that I thought was quite interesting about Seal, because I remember when it happened earlier this year, I was like, I'm going to make sure to mention that in the next season, is that Seal's birthday is February 19th. And apparently, it was established in the comics that Bruce Wayne's birthday is February 19th.
Oh, he is Batman.
Yeah, so Seal and Batman at least share a birthday.
Well, that's why the song doesn't come on until the end, because he can't start singing in the Batman guise, or people will know who he is. Yes, wait.
That's what it is.
And I would explain why Seal has all the scars on his face. It's like, hey, Batman's getting the crap knocked out of him all the time. Of course he's going to look a bit busted up.
That's it.
I can't remember what Seal's speaking voice sounds like, but I'm already committed to this idea, so...
He sounds like this.
One thing, this will sound like I'm taking a knock at the guy. It's not mean-spirited, but but Seal's, his actual face reminds me of... in Last Action Hero, there's that guy, the Ripper, Tom Noonan's character.
Oh, yeah.
Who is that guy with the raincoat and the hatchet? He looks like that guy to me. Like, it's...
Okay.
I don't know the film.
Oh, it's... I'll see if I get a quick comparison between... That guy. There you
go. Okay.
Okay, I can kind of see it, but also no.
Yeah. If you took off the hair... That's kind of like Seal to me. It's
I see why you say that, but I don't think they look alike.
No, Seal's much cooler, let's be honest. Seal's a cool dude.
If it comes out in the upcoming Last Action Hero minute that Seal was originally supposed to play that part, and they were so devastated that he couldn't, that I'm going to feel very smug. Let me tell you. Anywho, beyond who Seal looks like, let's get back to the minute.
Well, I googled something as well because Batman throws this guy, this Baraka, into the guy who's getting electrocuted by the taser. Mm-hmm. And I thought, would this work? Would this actually shock the two of them? And from my research, no, absolutely not. It wouldn't work at all. I went on some forums, and I had there's a message here from dstone66 is his username, and he says, no, the voltage is grounded and only grounded by the person being electrocuted. Only if the positive was touching one person and the negative touching the other person could you complete a bridge. So it has to make a link with the two electrodes. Because someone else elaborated on that. Oh God, how can I say this? You think I'd know this because I speak a little bit of Japanese. Kaze Kumiho says the current in the taser is emitted by two electrodes, so it travels between them, not through the whole body. So you would only feel it.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
You only feel it in that one localized region. So you would only feel the shock, like if you got between the two of them, if they each got hit with an electrode, basically, because then it would be that would create the bridge.
So if it was out like a V, like a cattle prong kind of thing, that would work.
That would work. But if one guy is getting zapped, anything else that touches him will be fine.
Cool. Okay.
Which is weird.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because when you see like videos of cops, tasing somebody, they often are also holding that person.
Yes. Yeah. It's the same kind of principle, basically. They know they're going to be okay. I'm sure there's one or two certain circumstances where you probably need to be careful, but in general, no, you're fine.
I don't even really understand how the electricity around the first guy's even working, because it seems to be creating like a weird electricity barrier that's surrounding his whole body.
Yeah, it's like Palpatine's lightning.
Yeah. But it's just like, I don't think that's how electricity works, Joel Schumacher. But,
he didn't bother to look it up.
I mean, that's what happens though. If electricity hits you, this thing will appear. If you get hit by acid in the face, a perfectly divided line will appear. As long as you block it with a manila folder, that will completely eradicate any sort of splashing into the rest of your face.
I think the manila folder should have burnt onto his face, so he would have had
the manila folder is the real hero here.
It's the real hero. Like it should have the barcode from it should have imprinted on his cheek, and some of the paperwork, like text, should have been like stuck into the skin of his forehead.
Oh, like with like silly putty.
Oh, that'd be great.
No. It's just like sometimes the people are like, do you want me to pick that out for you too? It's like, no, I want the pain and I want the paper sticking. There's a constant paper cut in my face.
But see, Joel Schumacher didn't look any of this stuff up. He didn't bother to contact Kaze Kumiho and ask any questions.
But while we're still here, in the midst of Val Kilmer fighting, now might be the time, because we've not really talked about it yet in the movie. I don't know if you're aware, Bryarly, because Val Kilmer's been out of the limelight for like quite a while. Like he's not a big name anymore. He's still a big name, but he's not like famous movie star anymore.
Yeah, right. He's not currently super active.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you know that, like, my understanding, particularly after this film, was that Val Kilmer is like a complete asshole.
I don't know.
I'm expecting now you're like, oh, I met him the other day and he was lovely or something. It's like, what?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I've never met him. I've never worked with him. I haven't even heard stories about him. Like some people you hear about, like from a variety of people, and you're like, okay, note to self. Yeah. And often in good ways as well. Like I hear that Adam Sandler is fantastic to work with.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
Because even though I'm not like a huge fan of his movies, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like he wouldn't be too pretentious or anything.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I mean, it depends on the film. I'm not like a huge fan either, but like, I like some of them, and it's more.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it's that he like he pays his friends to fly to beautiful places and make fun things that aren't stressful. Like,
Yeah.
I love acting, but I will say that a teacher of mine summed it up pretty well, where like, so acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And so in my opinion, if you're really acting, you're really feeling what's happening. And most of the time, if it's a story, you're not having a great time, you know, like there's usually a problem, and it's often very emotionally harrowing. And so I think like being on a move, like being paid to go to Hawaii to like be in a comedy is sort of a dream, I would feel, for, you know, for people whose job otherwise is to kind of put themselves through the ringer.
You can come clean, Bryarly. Like, we all know the only reason you moved to LA was to become friends with Adam Sandler, so you could get trips to Hawaii out of him.
You got me.
Hey, if someone I'm friends with says, I'm doing a movie and I'm going to fly you out to this gorgeous location for like weeks and weeks and weeks, I don't care if it's a bad script. I'm doing it.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody's like, hey, we'd like to fly you to Greece for like 3 months. It's mostly fart jokes. I'd be like, great.
Perfect. That's barely work.
Yeah.
Apparently, tragically not so with Val Kilmer. Like, he's actually got apparently had the nickname Psycho Kilmer.
Jeez Louise.
That was me. When I read that, I internally went, kiss, but apparently, like, it's a thing even you in childhood, because like a really memorable line in Father Ted from like that thing that stopped in like 96. But there's an episode, I think it's the last ever episode actually, where Ted's potentially going to America. Yeah. He meets an American priest, Father Buzz Cagney. And the thing is, like, the joke's incredibly dated now because of recent events. But like, he's talking about like moving to LA and stuff, and Ted's just like, oh, so do you know any celebrities over there? And Buzz Cagney's like, oh yeah, I know Kevin Spacey. He's a good guy. And then Ted goes like, oh, I don't know him. What about Val Kilmer? I believe he's a complete and like, apparently the reputation was so permeated that in Ireland in 1996, people were making jokes about how much of an asshole Val Kilmer was.
No.
I know. I always thought he came across like a nice guy.
I think even like, apparently they had a lot of trouble. Like, Joel Schumacher in particular had a lot of trouble with him on this movie.
Yeah.
But when you see him in the press materials, he looks like he had a great time. Like, he had loads of fun playing Batman. He was very happy to be on the project and stuff. But apparently he's just very like, there's times he's been in physical fights. I believe he made Red Planet with Tom Sizemore, who apparently is a dick anyway. But apparently, like, on Red Planet, like, Tom Sizemore in his own autobiography claims that he was shouting at Val Kilmer so much they agitated each other so much that he threw a 50-pound weight at him at one point. And then the director had to say to them, like, if you guys are going to fight, like, could you just not hit each other in the face, at least for my sake? And then Tom Sizemore was like, okay. Yeah, and then he's like, fine. And then immediately started punching Val Kilmer in the chest instead. Like, it was like, I was like, oh, I can't hit the face, but I'll hit him anyway.
That's how I would take that note, to be fair. That's exactly how I would respond to that note if I were currently mid-fight.
And I think apparently he was like, Tom Sizemore did, because the whole movie's about them going to Mars. And he declared to Val Kilmer, like, I'm never going to space with you again, which was delightfully childish. Apparently it goes way back. They said, like, apparently his first job was on a television advert at the age of 12, which he walked off because the director wouldn't give him, like, his motivation, basically.
Whoa.
Like he said he couldn't pretend to like the hamburgers that he was selling, and he couldn't understand why he would. So a 12-year-old Val Kilmer walked away from that role, apparently. So you know he's a child of privilege, at least.
Here's the thing. I'm kind of relating to Val Kilmer. Because I've never had a really strong sense of, like, automatic respect for just about anybody. Like, in my opinion, respect has to be earned. And I've been that way since I was, like, 5 years old. So when I was growing up, I always got written up for insubordination. And I have been on an audition where they wanted me to hold up a cleaning product because my husband and children had, like, dirtied the living room. And so I was like, I know how to do it. And I was in the audition room and I could not fake it. I just was like, why is my adult partner not cleaning up his own mess?
It's a
First
fair question. Yeah.
Like, second of all, why am I holding this from the bottom like it's a pie instead of from the handle? And so, like, the idea of a 12-year-old going, this is stupid, and leaving is that's very me. Like, I guess it's him being a dick, and, like, I guess it's not a good financial choice. Like, it's a bad move professionally, but I do understand and relate.
I actually respect the fact that he left.
Yeah. It's like, I cannot do this. Goodbye.
Yeah, that takes guts.
Yeah.
But apparently it's the thing that permeated throughout, like, most of the 90s. Like, apparently it was very... Like, again, on Red Planet, apparently him and Tom Sizemore would refuse to come out of the trailer if the other one was nearby. It's just a thing that Kilmer also did during the torturous making of The Island of Dr. Moreau, where, like, he was making it horrible for everybody in general. If anyone's not seen it, there's a great documentary called Lost Soul, the making of Richard Stanley's The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is amazing because it's fucking nuts what happened when they tried to make that film. But Val Kilmer is a small part of that, and apparently he was a nightmare on set. Like, very disrespectful to everybody there. And then when him and Marlon Brando had a falling out, so then he wouldn't come out of his trailer if Brando was until Brando came out of his trailer, and then Brando wouldn't come out of his trailer until Val Kilmer came out of his and stuff. And apparently it's just like a history of, like, difficulty with, like, I think his first big movie was Top Secret, and he was hounding the director, like Jim Abrams, the guy who made Airplane. Yeah. Like, so he's not a big, intricate character guy. He's like a silly comedy person. It was hounding him with questions about his character so much that, like, Jim Abrams, the director of the film, just kind of turned around and said, like, is it really so important, Val? And kind of had to tell him to leave him alone, basically. So, like, you can take it as, like, maybe he's extremely dedicated to the craft, or maybe he is a bit of a nut, maybe he is Psycho Kilmer.
Sounds like he's really bad at, like, other people. That's what it sounds like.
Which seems like an important skill for an actor to have. People skills.
Have you heard that thing? It's like you only need 3 things to be successful. Like, you have to be good, you have to be on time, and you have to be pleasant. Like, maybe he's good at his job and he's dedicated to it. So they're like, God, he's annoying, but God, can he act?
Yeah, it's like we can't say no to having him in the movie, but it's a lot of work.
Oh, but I will say that Joel Schumacher's direct quotes regarding Val Kilmer were saying that he's childish and impossible and the most psychologically disturbed human being I have ever worked with.
Okay, God.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to hate him because I don't know him or anything about him, really.
And I like him in everything I've seen him in.
Yes. But then, followed by the screenwriter of Tombstone, Kevin Jarre, said, there's a dark side to Val that I don't feel comfortable talking about.
Oh, God.
Which is like, what the hell? What happened between those guys? And then, of course, John Frankenheimer, who had to take over the Island of Dr. Moreau, infamously said, filming his last scene with Val Kilmer, get that bastard off my set. And also, if I was making the Val Kilmer story, I still wouldn't cast that prick. So, apparently, Val Kilmer, at the time, at least, very, very, would fight with a lot of people. Yeah. Very unpleasant person to work with.
Maybe he's mellowed now. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's coming back for the new Top Gun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, he is in ill health at the minute. Like, he's got throat cancer and stuff, and so don't want to poo-poo him in that regard. It's obviously a horrible thing, but but there's tons and tons of weird Val Kilmer stories that will pepper in throughout the rest of it. Like, some of it's just like, I think he just maybe is a bit crazy, but he might just also be a bit eccentric, so you can't really tell.
You have to be an actor, to be fair. Like, no good actor is sane, in my opinion. If you look at any of their autobiographies, you're just like, Jesus. Not even autobiographies, just biographies.
Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a scary way.
But anywho, I will also say, in another callback within the minute, I do enjoy his dainty run around the corner. Because it's really like, Batman's striding to get somewhere, and it's like, just careful taking that corner. Like, really daintily stepping around. It's like, I guess carrying that 100-pound suit.
I was just thinking, like, that's a man who's fallen in a bat suit before.
And again, there was a bit in the first movie before the fight in the alleyway where Batman was running along and he had a very dainty run. It's like, it could just be like the practicality. If you don't want to freaking fall on your ass and break something in that suit because of the weight of it, You have to be, nimble-footed, basically.
It also doesn't look like there's much padding on the inside. Like, I bet when you land in that suit, you bruise from the suit.
Definitely, definitely. And maybe he's got a lot of gadgets and things. And if I ever have to run over the road with my backpack, I hate the fact it bounces around. So I do a little dainty run to keep the bag steady. So maybe he's doing the same thing. As he does run around the corner, though, did you notice the music sounded very much like what I can only assume is an homage to the 60s show?
No, I don't think I did, actually.
It was really 60s for a second. It's like really silly and cool. I like it.
It has that kind of like the that sort of quality.
That kind of thing, yeah. I'm guessing it was just meant to be like it's not exactly, but maybe like a subtle reference.
Wouldn't surprise me. Because we've not really been mentioning it, like, but again, harken into the 60s show, tons of Dutch angles in this movie already. Like, even the next shot of Batman, he's at an angle. The Two-Face at that minute completely at a Dutch angle the whole time, and of course the Dutch angles were a frequent thing of the 60s show because I think we talked about it in the first movie, but the idea was that they would shoot the villains that way to show that they weren't on the level, so they'd have them constantly tilted and stuff. But yeah, it was a stalwart thing that they would employ. But yeah, so we have Batman running past the bank vault where this guy's inside, the security guard. And of course, then the thing is, because Batman pops in and it's revealed it's a trap.
It's a trap.
But yeah, the thing that annoys me most about it is that like Batman was tearing on anyway after Two-Face. This guy got his attention to get him to come in. And now he tells him it's a trap. And it's like, if you would just let him go, this Batman would be after Two-Face. Like, he wouldn't be he wouldn't be trapped in the vault with you now.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen other instances in Batman lore where he's just like, sees a hostage, he's just like, oh, they're safe enough. They're, like, I'm in the middle of something, I'll get them later. Or someone will get them later. But the fact that he feels like the need to stop and get this guy, and he wouldn't if the guy didn't get his attention. Like, was actively trying to get his attention, to get him to come into the vault to tell him it's a trap. And it's like, oh, you idiot! What the hell are you doing?
Selfish is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's a bit silly. Like, Batman must know this is a trap. Come on. It's too set up. It's too perfect. And that's exactly what happens, of course, because the door slams and they're locked inside. And Batman has been outsmarted, which is rare.
I don't agree with that. Is that bad to say? I often, like, it's disloyal, but I often am like, Batman... think things through. Like I feel like he's getting trapped so much, or like he's outsmarted, and then he has to play catch up, and then he like can come back and get the person. But I feel like I'm always seeing Batman getting like bamboozled, and then being like kind of offended, like, why did you trick me? I'm Batman.
He does have that reaction, doesn't he? Like, oh my god, what? I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It particularly happens in this movie. Like, he's in about like 5 or 6 death traps in this film where he's like, dude, would you stop running into things? Like,
yeah.
There's a bit later on where like he jumps off a roof and then Two-Face's got a big tube. He's looking to catch him and it's like, well, if you just stopped and looked for a second, maybe you would have saw it. But...
yeah.
But what is the plan here though, right? Because Two-Face locks them in the safe and then he's stealing the safe.
His remote control safe door closer thing.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure Alfred would love, considering that giant friggin' safe door he had to close in the first movie with 90-year-old man going like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a stocking stuffer for Alfred.
We're going to see that there's acid involved in the plan. He pumps it into the safe. So he's going to drown them in acid and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But presumably there's still money in those drawers.
Yeah.
Won't that all get burnt as well? Because, like, the inside of a safe is acid proof. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, this plan makes everything about this setup makes very, very
maybe it's
sense.
Like corrosive to skin but not to metal.
Maybe that's all I can think. Yeah. And we're about to see it just looks like water, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it like lots and lots and lots of food coloring.
Oh, I think in the commentary, Joel Schumacher just refers to it as red water. So I think they weren't even making the episode. It's like, oh, the lights will be red. No one will be able to tell the difference.
Oh, and the guy's acting. He's like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
But of course, then the helicopter starts to haul the safe out of the room.
That's cool.
Oh, this is kind of like, it's a Two-Face. He had a plan that's questionable, but this part of the plan's pretty good, I guess. It's like, it's a bank vault 60 floors up. How do you get out of that one? You just get a helicopter to come in and take it for you.
Obvi.
This is to all those with supervillain aspirations. This would be the first thing you think to do.
It's like a pitch for why to buy a helicopter. Like, well, in the instance of an above ground bank vault, you gotta need a helicopter.
But all this continues though in the next minute. I think I'm noted out for this minute.
I have one other note.
Anything else? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Notes.
One final one, because Two-Face has a fantastic line. He says, "Attention, citizens of fair Gotham." And the way he delivers it as well, it's amazing, but he sounds like Kelsey Grammer. And now I want Kelsey Grammer to be in a Batman.
It's like, attention, citizens of fair Gotham, I'm listening.
Yes.
The thing is, I was going to go like, if Kelsey Grammer could play a Batman villain, who would he play? But instantly my head is like Egghead.
Yeah.
Just like, of course you'd have to play Egghead, because look at the dome he's got. And I say that as a bald guy. I can get away with it.
Yeah, fellow bald person here. Yes, I am the same. I agree. He could do it.
He could also do Mr. Freeze. I think he'd have the gravitas for that. But
very different to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I would love though if he had David Hyde Pierce was Mr. Freeze, and he kept talking about Nora Freeze, but you never saw her. If she was perpetually behind frost in the glass, so it was just like Maris and Frasier. We're just like, oh yes, my dear Nora. She is constantly describing this completely inhuman woman that could never possibly exist. Turns Egghead and Mr. Freeze are brothers. Like, oh my god, this is a show I want to see now.
Well, while you all ponder how amazing that would be, we will depart once more. So, Bryarly, would you like to remind everyone where they can find you online?
Yeah, you can find me online at Bryarly Bishop on Twitter and on Instagram. You can also find my website, bryarly.com. I am playing Jarette Domongatt in the Black Desert online game, and I'm also in a short film called Über, where I play a young Jewish woman who gets revenge against the Nazi who killed her family.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully that'll be out at the beginning of next year.
That sounds amazing already. That's the combination of things I'm interested in right there. Revenge and the war.
Super emotional. Super emotional.
I'm on board.
The director really did just a brilliant job with it. Very historically accurate in terms of props and whatnot.
Well, cool.
Keep an eye out for that, everybody. And come and join us on Facebook at the Bat-Minute Listeners Cave. Send us a tweet at Bat-Minute. And come and buy a T-shirt on TeePublic. That's always very nice and helpful. And before we go, I'm gonna toss the coin. Let's see. Will Bryarly be back? Or will she be cast into a vat of acid? Let's see. It's going to be Tails this time for a saving throw.
I say we should note that Bryarly is currently recording within a bank vault.
Oh, yes.
And let's just hope that there's no acid just randomly placed in the deposit boxes.
Let's see. Tails, you survive one more time.
Whew.
Hey!
Excellent.
How fortuitous.
How fortuitous. So join us again on Friday for more Bat-Minute Forever.
Next time, a death-soaked deposit? A vitriol-visaged viper is victorious? Will the Caped Crusader's goose finally be cooked via acerbic currency? Or can the most ingenious investigator of history's annals find a day-saving haul in an ear canal? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.